September 28th, anonymous call was placed to CPS by my aunt, I come to find out. My mom had her do this. The claims were false.
CPS Win. We're taking your calls, listening to your stories, answering your questions. Let's jump back in and let's talk to David from Ohio. David, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
Hi, Mr. Davis. How you doing?
Doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing as best as can be. It's great to be talking to you. So I'll get on with the story. You need to understand a little background information, I believe, to get the picture. So September 14th, my son turned 3. My mother breaks plans with him often. So she broke birthday plans with him. So I told her she wouldn't be in contact with him anymore until she could treat him fairly like she does her other grandchild, who she sees very often. I had to break the news to him that his grandma wasn't coming to his birthday, and he cried, and I made the call. So September 28th, anonymous call was placed to CPS by my aunt, I come to find out. My mom had her do this. The claims were false. It was I was growing pot inside of the house with my son and telling my wife to kill herself were the original claims, which are both absolutely false. CPD, the police showed up first. They were doing a well-being check. My wife had left for the day. It's my girlfriend for all legal purposes. I say my wife, we've known each other 20 years. My girlfriend had left for the day, so she was gone when the cops showed up. Me and my son were sleeping in. We get a knock on the door. I wake up. I have my boy in my arms. I see it's the police. I say, how can I help you? They explained to me they're here to do a well-being check. I didn't know a call had been made, so I allowed them in because I have nothing to hide. They come in, the interview went, or the visit, whatever you want to call it, went absolutely smooth. I showed them the food in the fridge. They told me they were here for my son, and so I made sure they understood he was taken care of. Upon leaving, they said they were going to call CPS and tell them there was no need for further investigation. About an hour later, I got a knock on the door from a woman and another woman she was training. That's the initial intake worker, I guess you would call her. I allowed her in. I got the knock. I said, well, did the police call you and inform you there was no need for further investigation? She said, no. I said, well, I'm aware of the accusations. Come on in. Let's get this cleared up. So I let her in and her coworker in. They were here about an hour and a half, searched the house, didn't find nothing, period. I have nothing to hide. They asked to search the shared portion of the apartment building. I let them search the rest of the apartment building. Me and my son stayed upstairs while they did that. I found out I'd missed some business meetings and a lot of money. So at that point, I was upset. She came back upstairs, and I was aware of that, so I got upset. I said, what else do I need to do for you to get out of my house and get on with my work day and with my family? She said, you're talking very fast. Can you give us a drug test? And I said, give me the cup. I will pee in the cup right now. She said it doesn't work like that. And she referred me to an agency about 30 minutes away. I told her I could make it there by the following morning at the latest, if not that night. That was not good enough for her. At that point, I admittedly got very rude with the woman. I said, get the F out of my house. And she took it very spitefully, apparently, and decided to play with my family's lives and ruin my family's life. So she had me sign something on a tablet. I asked her what it was. She said it was just stating she was here. It was probably a safety plan now that I look back on the situation, and I'm a little more aware. So I signed that on the tablet. She left. She made a call. She asked for a ex parte telephonic emergency custody order of my son and was granted it. She made false accusations to be granted the order, twisted the truth, and used blatant lies to gain the order. That's a whole other matter. I could tell you what she said, but it's not real relevant, but it was basically all lies. Within an hour later, she came back. I had left. My girlfriend, my son's mother, came home. I left. We started a small family business. We own a shop at the property next door, a different owner, different address. I went to work. I had the shop door closed. My girlfriend was upstairs with our son. I get a phone call. This is, the same caseworker. I'm here to take your son, almost snooty-like, and you could tell she was upset and spiteful. And I'm here with like eight cops or 10 cops or whatever she said. I called my girlfriend in the house next door and told her to lock all the doors and hide. I told the social worker that nobody was home. I'm not willingly giving them my son. They didn't even tell me they had the intention of taking my son. I didn't know they were coming back to do this. So I told her to hide and hung up the phone and told her my attorney would reach out to my attorney, or we'd handle this in the future. So my girlfriend did not lock the back door. She was afraid. They were already knocking. They opened a shared door. It may have been open, but they allowed themselves into a shared door, then tried breaking into the front door. There's two doors. They tried breaking into the front door. They literally tore a piece of trim off and tried jimmying the deadbolt. They couldn't get in. They went around back, let themselves in. I get a message from my wife saying they took little David. So I run out of the shop. At that point, my son's gone. The CPS workers are gone. It's 8 cops. My wife is sitting in one of their cars having a panic attack due to the situation. So I head on up to the balcony. It's on the second story outside my back door. I say, how did you get in? Who let you in? The sergeant on the scene admittedly let himself in, and they're claiming exigent circumstances due to saying I'm high watching my kid, which was completely untrue. That's her claim, but it's completely unfounded. So he admittedly did that. During testimony, she's went back and forth. We're at the adjudication phase. Adjudication hasn't been ruled on. The next hearing is the 31st of January. He hasn't been adjudicated yet. But during her testimony, they've called witnesses on like 2 or 3 different hearings. They've been holding a trial, even though they're not calling it a trial. And she just lies every chance she gets. And she's committed so much perjury. It's literally provable by contradictory statements. Her statements being contradictory to each other. She said one trial she came in on her own. The other time the cop came in first. Anyways, so they took him. They took little David. They placed him with the only family member to step up to take custody of him. They reached out to family. Was my aunt who made the phone call to get him taken. They placed him with my aunt that made the phone call. She's spiteful to me because she's on my mom's side. At that point in time, I've since mended the relationship. At first, though, until about December 20th, from September 29th, they wouldn't allow me one single phone call with my son or my wife, my girlfriend. So I've mended that relationship. I'm biting my tongue just so I can comfort my son during this time. I finally calmed my emotions. Anyways, so I'm now seeing him when he's there. Since then, after the first adjudication hearing, that was December 6th, first adjudication hearing. December 14th, I believe it was, they had a hearing for where he would be placed during this time until disposition. And they also called it adjudication hearing continued during the hearing. Mm-hmm. The guardian ad litem made the recommendation. Basically, DCFS does not want me at my house. So I reacted poorly at the first court date. I flipped out on the cops when they took them, and I walked out on the court date and cussed everybody out, in all honesty. My girlfriend, I placed blame in the wrong place. I asked her to leave the night that this happened. That's a whole other backstory. We mended our relationship. That was the first time we've ever been apart or ever had anything like that happen. But a week later, we got back together. She came back home, and everything is fine to this date. DCFS told her in order to get little David home, I was not allowed at the house. They're trying our cases separately because at the first hearing, we were not together. We mended a relationship, and we're doing visits with him and dealing with the new caseworker. They changed the caseworker a week later, and we get along with him great. He's a great guy. But since then, they don't want me at the house. So we made the best decision for my son. I chose to leave. And they don't want me at my work neither because it's right next door. So I left. I'm staying with family and friends. The magistrate granted little Dave, my girlfriend, have unsupervised visits on the weekends and holidays.
Okay.
So she currently picks him up Friday. She gets 3 days a week out of the 4. That's where we're at. They switched my public defender 3 times in 4 months.
Hey, David.
Ohio.
David, hold on a second.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I want you to note where you left off right here. We're going to have to take a break real quick, and we'll come back, and I want you to pick up the story when we come back, all right? This is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. We'll be right back after these messages.